emotions are there for a reason. We have emotions because we need them. So the question becomes, well, what are they, and why are we having them? What good are they? Some emotions we tend to enjoy, happiness, we feel joy and elation, we tend to like those more than what we call negative emotions like fear and anger. But every emotion has a purpose. If it didn't have a purpose, it wouldn't be there. So what is an emotion? Well, I like to think of emotions as a bridge between my body and my mind. It's a way for my mind-body to express something, an idea or a need. It's a way for me to gain information that I don't have readily available. It might be something that I'm not able to think about, to put into some sort of cognitive frame. Yet there it is. There's something there. There's a feeling. So I trust in the emotions to be effective communicators of the subconscious, things that I may have experienced that I forgot on a conscious level, or an urge or feeling that I need to have in order to take some sort of productive action. And so I want to honor all of my emotions. Ironically, what we often do is when we have an emotion that we're not fond of, like we have the emotion of fear, let's say, which is very common. And fear is useful. Fear helps us take action. If we take the action, if we use it properly. What we often do, and what is so damaging, is we often want to reject the sensation of the emotion. We say, ooh, I'm starting to feel fear, but I don't like that, so I want to not feel that. So I want to push that feeling away. Now, the definition of tension is when two forces are working in opposition to one another, right? So when two forces are pushing against each other, we have tension. Tension is also a feeling that we tend to not want. So what we're doing by pushing an emotion away is we're creating more of what we don't want. We're creating more tension. So the solution to reducing anxiety and reducing tension is when we feel an emotion, even if we don't necessarily want to have it, is actually to do the opposite of pushing, which is to pull, which is to invite, is to allow the emotion. When we allow the emotion and we allow it to be in our body, or if it's in our mind, it's in our mind. Usually we feel it, and we might feel it in our belly, we might feel it in our chest. These are very common. It might be somewhere else, but usually belly or chest. And when we can just allow it, the first thing that we do is we don't add to it. We don't add anything. There's no tension on top of it. The second thing that we do, which is really useful, is we come to have a greater understanding of what it's representing. I almost treat it like maybe it's like a child and that's coming to me with a problem. Here's this child coming to me. He or she is upset. And I say, what can I do for you? Tell me. Talk to me. Often all that needs to happen is that individual needs to express his or herself, and they feel better because they just needed to say something. It's really as simple as that. So something that we can all try is when we're faced with a feeling that we don't necessarily want, and we know that, is rather than push it, is we first allow it to be, and then we get curious about it, and we ask it to talk to us, ask it to share more, to be. You can even invite it to become more of the feeling that it is. In my experience, and again, experiences will vary from person to person, but a practice would be to invite it to be more of what it seems to want to be. If it wants to be a little tension here, allow it to be as much of that as it wants. And my experience has been that when I can do that, when I have the mindfulness to do that, and the patience and the compassion, what happens is it tends to just dissipate. It tends to just dissolve. Because that's all that it really needed. It just needed to be allowed. And because I'm not adding to it, there's no resistance. And so it just tends to dissolve. It may not dissolve completely, and it may not dissolve forever. But for that time, you've made progress, and you've made peace,